Hey YouTube, it's Carl here, or as most of you may know me from my channel Carlos Perez. I'm just kidding, no one knows my channel. Now some of you are wondering, hey Carl, this isn't a stupid, funny, somewhat humorous comedy sketch. And the rest of you are probably wondering, who the fuck is this guy? That I say, I'm just a guy. Here's the thing, I like comedy. Comedy's funny. Well, yeah, no, usually that's the main thing that needs to be part of comedy, so yeah, I think that's tackled it. I like to think I'm a funny guy sometimes, but something I think that people and I can agree on, that cartoons are freaking awesome. But being something completely different from my channel, me being a comedy channel, but talking about pop culture in this video, I consoled a friend. And this is what he told me. Just do the damn video. So here I am! That's why I'm going to be talking about something that was very important to me that's finished only a few weeks ago. Regular show. So Regular Show basically is about a blue jay and a raccoon called Mordecai and Rigby who work in a park with their friends where weird, wonderful and crazy stuff happens to them on a regular basis. I think I'm done. But wait, there's more! This show was great. It had references up itself, I guess. You know, from Indiana Jones taking out the Crusader, you know, looking for the fountain, but instead of looking for the fountain of youth, they were eating an all-you-can-eat buffet challenge of eggs. And then they got a cap, which said, "I'm excellent." To the returning character Gary, who was basically David Bowie. And oh my gosh, the video game references. Oh. Like, the main representation in the series was just playing video games. They had in their room, the front room in the house they lived in, basically a Master System. I guess you could say Genesis does what Nintendo don't, am I right? Alright? Although in this case it's more Master System because Genesis, or the Mega Drive as they call it here in the UK, came after the Master System. And this is why people think I'm not funny. Shit jokes. But that's what a lot of this show was about. Bringing in references that people older than me, my age, and exposing to kids younger the kinds of things that people had in the past that were very popular and highly popular. They were hyped in that show about playing 8-bit video games. I like old school video games, you know, I like retro stuff. But I know no TV show today would have that going on. They'd be like, these graphics are terrible, what do you mean, 8 bits? But that's what a lot of this series was. It was stuff that referenced and harkened back to people's childhood. I'm sorry, how old are you? I'm 22. So it's not really a childhood, is it? Because, you know, you were not part of that generation. But I could still like the stuff you want to. Yeah, but it's not really a childhood. I like retro games. Shut up, man. Damn, okay. I'm sorry, man. Good show, though, yeah. Oh, yeah, great show. Yeah, definitely. But no, the key thing wasn't, you know, looking at references like, oh, that's why I watch TV shows. No, it was a comedy. And the good thing about it was that it was simple and effective comedy that people could easily understand and appreciate, even if it came in multiple times, like the signature, whoa! Yeah, like that. Or like how people die a lot. But I'm glad the show referenced that, at least later on, that people died. Like, I know what you're thinking. That's all well and good, but how do a raccoon and a blue tit pull this off? Simple. They're anthropomorphic. They have human characteristics. Like Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh. So like these wacky weird things happen in a world where human-like animals and humans exist, and even like, you know, weird hybrid talking candy machines exist, and they just interact with each other. They're humanoid animals, and they exist. One of the examples of this happening is Margaret, who is a separate character in her own thing in a relationship with Mordecai at one stage. She was alright, but that tagged on for too long. Her father is human, and her mom's, well, a red tit, red jay, I don't know, leave me alone. But what's important is not this, it's not structure, it just adds to it. It gives you a variety of different worlds you see where it's not just humans interacting, but animals as well, and the fact that the animals are actually the main cast, they're the focus of the show, is quite interesting as well. You get to see the world through their eyes and how they act. but they can't like fly and stuff. The thing that's works so well is that there's variety throughout every episode. There's like a continuing story arc that's progressing throughout life with things such as relationships and previous hardships and wanted destruction. But that carries on, it flows. Like nearly every episode is completely different. And if it isn't, then they reference that. The fact that you can have one episode where you're fighting a giant, great, evil baby overlord with the power glove, and then in a different episode, they could be trying to become astronauts just so they can get in the front of the line to get a cheese sandwich. Or that there could be a whole episode dedicated to a format wars between VHS and Laserdisc, and that just carries on perpetuating from then to against DVD, then to against streaming and online. It's just, it's so weird and wacky, it's great, it's wonderful. You can have all these different adventures going on, but you know, you're never stuck to one place that you have to stay and focus on, like, oh yeah, life at the park. Because usually they're slackers, like I said, it's a slacker comedy. So it won't always just be in the park. They'll be going to the arcade or going to the coffee shop or more space. It's like almost a different show every time. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. And obviously, yeah, there are different things. Like I said, there are hardships and relationships and quite a big factors. There is a large focus in the character development of Mordecai, looking at his relationship goals, which fail a lot. I think that while that was cool, it kind of annoyed me because like there was, when it was focusing on that, there wasn't as much of the comedy. Obviously, there was some form of comedy where he'd be like, oh yeah, this is like between like how awkward it was for him to try and get things done, or try and make them work with both his love interests. So you got Margaret and CJ, and like, you know, whatever side you pick, Margaret or CJ, kind of like CJ more because he didn't feel as awkward around CJ because he'd already had worked on moving forward with Margaret. I think that was, while as cringy as that was in some cases, I think it was imperative and necessary to help develop him as a person, develop his, well, as a bird, and develop his character arc and develop just the show in some element, because then we were able to have a more mature but still a silly Mordecai. And then, you know, Rigby strikes out first time with his relationship and he's just winning, so you know, nice one, Rigby. Quick note, basically Rigby is practically the punching bag in this show, but he's the one who gets the girl first time and then goes home and becomes a family man, but he's winning constantly. Along with that, there are other characters, you know. Skips is an immortal Yeti man who basically skips everywhere and solves all of Mordecai and Rigby's problems with his infinite knowledge of weird stuff. High Five Ghost is a ghost that high fives. You got Benson, who is the grouchy manager, who is the gumball talking thing that I talked about earlier. Pops, virtually throughout the show, is a old school gentleman who is very unique. And then one of probably my favourite characters is Muscle Man. I don't know why I said it like that. Muscle Man. Basically the guy who said, "My mom!" So relationships and adventures aside, the last 2 seasons were basically 2 separate arcs focusing on 2 independent storylines. I won't go into too much depth because my name's not Wikipedia and, you know, I don't want to get many things wrong and make loads of mistakes, or I probably will make loads of mistakes. You know who else makes mistakes? My mom! No, that hurt. That's too deep. That is too deep for a joke. As self-deprecating as I can be. No. But there were 2 arcs. There was Rigby going back to school to get his high school diploma. The second and final season, or the final arc, whatever how you reference or determine it, was all the crew going to space. Spoilers, if you get, you know, spoiled now, you've been warned, whatever. They moved forward in progressing the character of Pops. He's an alien. And this was kind of foreshadowed previously looking at his favourite planet, but whatever. In the end, it comes down to like a showdown between him and an anti-version style of him, referencing, and I'm not kidding you, the way they look, Goku versus Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. And I thought that was awesome, the fact that they had that reference where it's basically him with Super Saiyan-like hair and he'd been training and he got like the muscles and abs. So I was like, ooh, Pops is looking like a bad man. And then you had his anti-version with like the horns and like the kind of armor looking as well, like Frieza, like in his first form, not his final form. I like Dragon Ball Z as well. It was just, it was so cool that they did this, and I was just really happy. And then they went and did me wrong and ended one of my favorite shows, and I was crying and sad and emotional, but none of that now because bun emotions. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy the show got to end. Being annoyed so many times when shows that I've liked and watched have just been cut off. The fact that we actually got to the last episode and it was able to finish off the story, I was happy, I was pleased. And then I felt so damn old because this show's like 6 years old. How the ending goes is you have Goku versus Frieza, Pops versus Anti-Pops. They fight, but what's happened is that every time there is a fist clash which resets time. So this has happened multiple times over the years. And as such, nothing's destroyed, but it's always reset. But they want to move forward with progression. So Mordecai and Rigby sacrifice themselves and get in the way of the pounding fist, and so they're set back in time, but nothing else is reset. They find what is probably an amazing thing. From the first episode, the last episode is called The Power, which was the name of the first episode, and it restarts. But they're having deja vu about what happened. Perfect deja vu. They get the power, which is a magical keyboard which can grant anything, and I thought that was very smart of Quintel to do, the creator of regular show, implementing it all from the beginning, making you think that they failed, but instead it's a new sign of hope that they now have the power, pun intended, unintended, whatever, to then go back to the end of time, and in doing so, they realize, oh, they can still stop everything. But, as it's always doomed to happen again and again, Pops then sacrifices himself and kills himself and Anti-Pops in the nearby sun to then spare all his friends, save humanity, and give them all a future, a chance. The heroes go home to Heroes Welcome, like I said, to the sound of David Bowie. Mordecai becomes a painter. Rigby goes home with his girlfriend, who wifes her. And they have kids, everyone progresses forward, and then you're taken to the end where it's 25 years into the future. One of the saddest things and happiest moments in the show happened after that. They walk off to the shed to reminisce and get the old school video games to play them. The screen fuzzes out like the end of a VHS tape. It pans out to show a television with a VHS player inside, surrounded by butterflies, in heaven with the sun shining, and then the tape to come out showing regular show, and then you hear Pop saying jolly good show. So it's signifying that he's watching everyone's life from heaven in the past, including himself. You know who else watches everyone's life from heaven in the past, including themselves? My mom! Hey, it's everyone from the time skip. Hello. Basically, regular show was a weird and interesting and exciting experience that, they took a gamble on, and it worked. It took us on a journey for 6-something years. Episodes ranging across the board, be it getting amazing basketball skills from the god of basketball just to decide who can use the internet when and when they want to, eating too much junk food and becoming a disgusting blob, even following a map after beating a video game to get jacket patches from a creator of the video game who looks and kind of has the same feel as Shigeru Miyamoto. Regular show took us on a journey, for 6 years. It was a gamble, it was weird, it was wacky, it might not have worked, but it did. Regular show dazzled us, it made us cry, it made us feel, it made us think, it made us laugh, it made us smile. And it probably in some ways inspired quite a lot of people as well. But it was definitely a show that many people could find interesting and appreciate and find hilarious. As it leaves, I want to thank J.G. Quintel, the creator and voice of Mordecai for Regular Show, and everyone else who worked on the project for the memories and the laughs. Hey guys, this is Carlos Perez here. I hope you liked the video. You know, I said I like cartoons, I like video games, like all kinds of things. And, you know, this is something I wanted to talk about as a show that ended into something that was important to me. It was the kind of thing I wanted to do. And also I wanted to branch out, as well as just comedy, I want to talk about things I like as well. You know, I like cartoons, I like video games. But being comedy, it's kind of hard to like find ways to integrate those into what you're doing. Talk about, as well as with copyright protection. I own none of the things I've used in this show. Anything related to Regular Show that I've put in this video is nothing to do with me. I own nothing of it. Do not sue me, please, although it's a review, so I think I'm allowed to use those things? So I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, click that like button, comment below. What's your favourite cartoon? Simple. Share with people, and if you haven't, make sure to subscribe. Also, yes, I'm aware I shaved my face. I was the one who did it. Hide the extra chin. So this is Carlos Perez signing out, everyone. And remember, keep it cool with a K.